Hi, this is Greg Hansen's video notebook brought to you by Domino's Pizza. I'm Zack Rosenblatt here with Greg Hansen. We're just in McHale Center right now. We just got done with Sean Miller, Aaron Gordon, and all the guys' press conference. We found out Aaron Gordon's leaving and Nick Johnson's leaving. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson's coming back. Caleb Tarzusi's coming back. And Brandon Ashley's coming back. I guess, Greg, just what are your general reactions from all that happening there?
I think the ironic bottom line is I think it was a good day for Arizona. I think they're going to be better next year because Rondae Jefferson's staying. To me, that was the message of this whole, hour was Rondae Jefferson's coming back. You can win the national championship next year. Aaron Gordon was good. Nick Johnson was better, but move on.
Have you ever seen a guy as happy as Rondae? He, in the beginning of the press conference, he comes in, he's singing Happy Days. He just seems so excited. He's always like that, but it's got to be fun. Yeah.
Mr. Fun Incorporated. the fans, I think the fans like him as much as any player they've ever had here. Yeah. And it just makes the whole off season, which was kind of a hangover since that Wisconsin game, now you can speed ahead.
Yeah, and we were talking about this a little bit, but how much has the process for guys leaving for the draft and having these press conferences, these big hour-long press conferences, how much has that changed from the days of Sean Elliott and Chris Mills and all of that?
Chris Mills, who I think was as good as anybody Arizona ever had, was a fifth-year senior, and he came back. He didn't have a press conference. Sean Elliott was a first-team All-American as a junior. He came back. He didn't have a press conference. But that's 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Different culture now, so, move on.
Yeah, again, this is Greg Hansen's video notebook brought to you by Domino's Pizza. And I guess in terms of Nick and Aaron, I guess how do you feel like they project for the NBA?
I don't think there's much surprise about it. Aaron Gordon probably being a first 10 picks, going to have to learn to shoot a jumper and a foul shot. I think Nick's going to struggle to be drafted, but he's a guy you want on your team. I think he'll play in the NBA someday, maybe even 5 or 6 years as a sub, but he's such a good kid.
And I don't know, I guess what's Aaron Gordon's ceiling? It seems like everybody's talking about him as a top 10 pick, but again, you said he doesn't have a shot. Is that going to be an issue for him in the NBA?
Huge issue. I liked his comment today, and you mentioned it. He said, my potential is limitless.
Yeah.
Only if he can make more than 42% of his foul shots.
Yeah. And I thought it was kind of interesting. Rondae said ever since he was a kid, he always wanted to be a top 10 pick. Do you see him as someone who can come in next year and prove that he's capable of becoming a top 10 pick?
If you'd have told me that in February, I would have probably said no. But the way he played in March, I thought he might have been Arizona's best player. I can see it. I want him on my team if I'm in the NBA. He will get down and dirty. He is a guy you want.
And I guess just in general, what do you feel like is this team's potential for next year? Everybody's saying they have potentially more talent than next year, but we're still pretty early, obviously. But what do you think?
If Dusan Ristic, the 7-foot Serbian kid, if Kadeem Allen, the junior college player of the year, if those guys are any good at all, Arizona, if they don't get to the Final Four, it's a disappointment. Stanley Johnson, as good as any player Arizona's ever recruited. So I think they'll be ranked number 1 going into the season.
Well, there you have it. For Greg Hansen, I'm Zack Rosenblatt. This has been Greg Hansen's video notebook brought to you by Domino's Pizza.
At Domino's, we're slowing down to make our handmade pan pizza the right way, taking our time to hand press the fresh dough into the pan, adding 2 layers of cheese, and slowing our ovens down to get the crust golden and crispy. So try a Domino's handmade pan pizza with 2 toppings for just $7.99.